Up next on UBC, brought to you by
My Airtel app, the smart way. Download today on the App Store or the Google Play Store.
A very good evening once again. Thank you for watching UBC TV News Tonight. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and we'll be joined shortly by Mugalu Muhammad on sign language. So without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. And in our UBC News Tonight, President Museveni cautions Bataka against tribalism. United States Vice President Harris Kamala visits Tanzania. And a building in downtown Kampala catches fire. National Council Sports intensifies outreach program for infrastructure development. Once again, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. To start off, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has met with Buganda clan heads, speaking to the delegation of clan leaders in Buganda Kingdom. At State House in Entebbe, the president said that they should desist from using tribes and religions to divide Africans, as these details share with us.
The delegation of clan heads in Uganda Kingdom that met President Museveni were led by the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Sebugwawo. Speaking to the visiting delegation, President Museveni appealed to the clan heads in Uganda Kingdom to desist from using tribes and religion to divide Africans.
Government is Government is omulembe tezisobola kukikwata bulungi n'olwekyo ab'ennono awo lwandibadde olubimbi lwabwe kati bwe tuvaawo ne tugenda ku ekyo kye mugambye eky'empisa bwe tumala okukola audit mu mpisa zaffe ate twandibadde tutuula no ne auditinga ennono one by one.
Museveni also told the clan heads that at the moment, focus should be on rebuilding the economy, creation of a bigger market both in Uganda and East Africa and Africa to become prosperous. He also cautioned them on cultures that seek to take the country backward.
No, nkulu, but it must be modernized, must be harmonized with modernity. And if we find bitakwatagana netubileka, this is my tetukyusanga njogera.
Uganda Kingdom originally had 5 indigenous clans. These were Fumbe, Lugave, Ngonge, Njaza, and Nyonyi. These 5 indigenous clans increased over time through subdividing and new arrivals. The clan in Uganda forms a large extended family. Members of the same clan regard each other as brothers and sisters, regardless of how far they are in terms of actual blood ties. A formal introduction of a Muganda includes his own names, the names of his father and paternal grandfather, as well as a description of the family's lineage within the clan that it belongs to. These clans are organized in a way that the clan head is at the top, or Kasolya, followed by successive subdivisions called the Siga, Mutuba, Lunyiriri, and finally at the bottom, the individual family unit, Enju. Mtonyi Hilda, UBC.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has launched a book titled The CEO in You, authored by Irene Birungi Mugisha, the private secretary for administration at the office of the President of Uganda. The book launch was attended by a select group of family, friends and colleagues of Irene Mugisha and turned out to be an inspirational moment for all the guests who attended. Let's have a look.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has emphasized the importance of analyzing and proving ideologies before writing them in books. However, he also commended Irene Birungi Mugisha for authoring such an impactful book that would inspire future generations of entrepreneurs and leaders.
Because when you make analysis, in medicine they call it diagnosis. Diagnosis, then the next thing you must do, a prescription. You must give medicine to the diagnosis you have carried out. So therefore, I will read the book in more detail to audit Atene's analysis.
The president cited various European economic theories like mercantilism that predicted wrongly the source of economic welfare being based on gold and silver, ignoring many factors that surrounded the ideology of wealth. In her remarks, the First Lady of Uganda and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, congratulated Mrs. Irene Birungi Mugisha on the achievement and promised to use this book as inspirational literature in schools to awaken the entrepreneurial and leadership potential of learners.
And I congratulate you on this book. I believe it will be a blessing to the young people in this country. And I really thank you. I thank your mother. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to meet her and part of your family. May God bless you today and every day.
Precious Morene Nyike, a Zimbabwean entrepreneur and keynote speaker at the launch, challenged the audience to start thinking of African solutions to African problems.
And we celebrate Irene in the month of women for the launch of her book. Issues around the empowerment of women and equity remain at the heart of some of the challenges we have in Africa. Because proportionally, there are more women than men in Africa. And as long as the significant population remains marginalized, Africa will remain marginalized. And so how much effort can we put towards building a nation with empowered women?
She emphasized that most Africans pride themselves on being readers, yet most of the content they read is either from Europe or America. The CEO in You is a book that tackles entrepreneurial leadership amidst a changing environment, providing tools and insights needed to become a true agent of change.
But the power in that woman forced me to delegate the Honorable Nakadama, and I am here. Your Excellency, I want to thank you for identifying women like Irene, including myself. Your Excellency, I'm a humble woman. You know where I come from. And I know Irene, I know her mother, I know what we have done together. I know that she has attributes that can make a lot of development in this country, and one of them is now this book.
I also chose, Your Excellency, to be able to be in position to put my practice of experience of what it takes to be a person as a leader in my position, to communicate, but through the pages. So I'm really honored that at this particular moment, where I got to understand that writing is not only for communication, But writing is so powerful because it does inspire, it can persuade as well change the world.
And over 1,500 books were bought among the invited guests, with the president buying 1,000 copies, all to be donated to various institutions of learning in various parts of the country. The book has two versions, a hardcover version and a softcover version going for the price of 100,000 and 150,000 Ugandan shillings, respectively. Wadulo Arnold at State House, Nakasero, Kampala.
The U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris pledged continuing cooperation with Tanzania as she met with the country's president, the only female head of state in Africa, on her first official visit to the continent. Now, VOA's Anita Powell reports from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Let's have a look.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris arrived on the second stop of her Whirlwind Africa tour Thursday, meeting with Africa's only female head of state, Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan. She took office when the president died in 2021 and rolled back some of his unpopular policies, such as a ban on pregnant girls going to school and limits on freedoms of expression. The U.S. will provide $560 million in bilateral assistance to Tanzania next fiscal year. On Thursday, Harris said the U.S. will expand U.S.-Tanzania commercial engagement, work toward delivery of battery-grade nickel from Tanzania to the U.S. and the global market as soon as 2026, expand affordable broadband and cooperation in democratic development, biodiversity, women's empowerment, and health projects.
Thanks to the progress of your administration, you have been a champion in terms of democratic reforms in this country, and in that way have expanded our partnership. And so today then is part of the strengthening of the relationship between our two countries. And under your leadership, I have full confidence that we will be able to do just that.
Today, Tanzania has made another historic milestone with two female leaders, the Vice President and the President, meeting here at the State House in Dar es Salaam.
Several students waited for hours at the airport and at the State House to see the highest-ranking woman in America.
She motivated us and she gave us many opportunities, so we are proud of her. I'm expecting a lot of changes in education, in politics, also in finance, economic. We really need to be like America, at least to reach like America in their economic.
Harris also paid her respects to victims of the deadly 1998 U.S. Embassy bombing. She heads next to her final stop on this week-long trip to the southern African nation of Zambia. Anita Powell, VOA News, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Now, Fire Brigade has rescued a team worked tirelessly this Friday evening to put out a fire outbreak that gutted Gaggawala building in Kampala Business Centre district that has left many traders choking on losses and encountered after their merchandise worth millions of shillings was blown to flames. It is anticipated that the fire was caused by electric shocks catching different shops.
Enge mali ya feyo newe de 12 zenyini. Twayo muchaine
kidemo muliro. Ende geno gwekuze nyumba ya mukama wange yagaza wala sauli yako amawulire gatutuuseeko essaawa 12 eddakiika ezigwamu era ne tutuuka misinde n'okunekitinga abafaya kubategeeza waliwo enjega etuguddeko mu kitundu ennyumba ya gaggawala sauli yaako binabbabu olwo guno mu buli ngeri saspekiti yaako eva ku masannyalaze tunafuna saspekiti endala kusinga ku masannyalaze katuyokoza omuliro kwe gugudde ne gugenda nga gwaka mu ruumu mwe gubadde mubaddemu baatire ebintu ebirala ebitundibwa mu mbeera eza hadiwiya mipiira biku ebintu ebifaanana bwe bityo ebya kooda kuteya wa kooda ebitundibwa ku nnyumba eyo malibwa luvannyuma.
Opposition members of parliament have re-echoed the need for public accountability, human rights fulfillment and regional balanced budgeting. They shared these views while presenting their anticipated alternative budget priorities for this coming financial year. Members also called on government to harmonize various budgetary activities.
To ambush any government minister in the corridors of parliament, tell them to come here, we give them 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and a box of water to speak about the budget approach to budgeting, the program approach to budgeting.
The budget estimate for 2023-2024 stands at Uganda shillings 48.9 trillion, out of which 32.8 trillion is expected to be generated through internal revenue under the theme Rethinking Uganda's Economy, a Human Rights Approach to Resource Allocation. Opposition has listed its key priorities in what they termed as a human rights-based approach in budgeting and resource distribution.
Our approach is, because science teachers are rare and few, our government would second science teachers to private schools. Recruit all science teachers available, second them to private schools, because we have more private schools than government schools. Common sense.
Key in their priorities the opposition is focusing on is commitment to human rights, service delivery and accountability. It also highlighted the need to develop the ICT infrastructure to meet the demands of the youth.
There are government-funded agencies where we are paying billions of money in their support in the budget. We spend more money to support government agencies that should have given us revenue than the revenue we get.
According to the Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjura, the unbalanced resource allocation has seemed to slow down development and sabotage the realization of the budget objectives. She emphasized the need for rule of law and good governance to meet the dynamic needs of the youthful country.
Now, of course, the concentration of resources at the center has bred corruption and impunity. The thugs reside right at the top. This country is yet to recover from one of the most shameful scandals, at least for me, the one that I have seen in the annals of corruption, the Karamoja Iron Sheet scandal.
Different key opposition leaders from different political leanings gave their different views on poverty alleviation projects, including the parish development model and the coffee deal.
In PDM is a game changer, but you are donating it in interest payment 5. Actually, they are going to be 6.
To repossess that land which has been given away, public lands which have been given away, because public lands are given away conditionally.
National Unity Platform President Robert Chagulanyi explained that the undistributed wealth coupled with corruption and human rights abuses needs to be addressed.
Alternative budget proposals are rooted in the principles of universal human rights and equality. Human rights are not a luxury, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fundamental aspect of human dignity that should be respected and protected in all aspects of life. Wealth and power are concentrated in the hands of a small group. And that is why we need an alternative budget, which truly represents and prioritizes the needs and aspirations of all Ugandans, not just the few.
Political parties including the Forum for Democratic Change, JEMA, Uganda People's Congress and the National Unity Platform, among others, were represented at the 2023-2024 opposition budget proposal organized by the Leader of Opposition in Parliament, Susan Naung and Gloria Gwitabinji, reporting for ABC TV.
5 ministers named in the Iron Sheet scandal have declined to return the controversially obtained items. The ministers accused their Karamoja counterpart Mary Goretti Chitutu of tarnishing their reputation, with some hinting on going to court. While appearing before the Presidential Affairs Committee of Parliament, only Finance Minister Matia Kasaija expressed willingness to return the said iron sheets.
It was likely the last moment for 6 ministers to interface with the Presidential Affairs Committee of Parliament. Amos Lugorori, Jacob Oboth, Matia Kasaija, Freddie Wino Chakulaga, Esther Anyakun, and Jennifer Namuyangu appeared to argue their case. Central Youth Member of Parliament Agnes Kirabo equally appeared to answer to some questions. Question after question, the ministers were tasked to explain how they took what belonged to the disadvantaged.
That when you learned about this saga, because we all got like shocked when we saw what was happening in the media, did you try to ask your colleague that did you give me iron sheets which belong to Karamoja? How did you?
I did not request for her to give me iron sheets from her ministry. I did not. I only thought that she would help me to amplify my appeal, so that I can appeal.
On the 29th of September, I went to the Prime Minister to Moroto. The division commander, in my presence, told the Prime Minister there was an error. When they started identifying the beneficiaries, they did not consult me. So the list of the people identified by the local leaders who have received the goods is null and void.
They maintained their innocence, expressing no willingness to return the controversially obtained items.
She normally refers to me as local, having served in the Ministry of Local Government. So I stopped. And when she approached me, she asked me if I had picked iron sheets from the store. I told her I had not picked. And what came to my mind was that maybe it was a response from the previous requests I had made to Minister Esther Nyakun, Minister Kuyuchini Grace, and she told me that if I don't pick the iron sheets, others will take.
If I had primary schools who also had requested differently, I would have divided the iron sheets among them. But my primary schools, they are not needed at this material time.
This was not all. State Minister for Defense, Jacob Maxons of both, contemplated dragging Karamoja Affairs Minister to court. This he said in the event that he's compelled to return the iron sheets.
I am not in position to go and deroof the church, neither do I have the position to refund. But if it is in the wisdom of this committee that you condemn me to refund what I did not steal, you tell me anything I will do. But I think
to appear before the committee for the first time was State Minister for Economic Planning, Amos Lugorori.
Initially, we agreed to that arrangement where I would make good the iron sheets on top of that roof. And unfortunately, the following day before we could execute this, a big story came out in the New Vision. Now, the team changed their position and said, we don't want you to buy the iron sheets. We want to recover those ones. Of course, I had no choice because that's what they said. They want to recover them. I had to look for money, buy my own iron sheets, and put them there because I wouldn't allow my ghost to die.
It is not clear whether the Friday Presidential Affairs Committee sitting was the last over the matter. However, it will not be surprising to see the committee sittings over the matter continue after hinting on interfacing with the Speaker and the Prime Minister.
As this submission, the floor is open.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, Ben Kumumanya, has asked stakeholders in the National Oilseeds Project to exhibit expertise for social transformation. Kumumanya made these remarks during an induction of support officers and district engineers from the oilseed production district chain. The National Oilseeds Project will help transform the 39% from subsistence to cash economy.
The National Oilseed Project is one of government's initiatives of supporting farmers involved in oilseeds to put connectivity to market, including roads. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Local Government, Ben Kumumanya, says the National Oilseeds Project is accompanied with building resilient infrastructure, promotes sustainable industrialization and foster innovation.
Certainly this will help to move products from the farmland and gardens, but at the same time you can be able to move traders, you can be able to serve the population with those who are dealing with inputs, and therefore this will support the national agenda for socio-economic transformation.
The National Oilseeds Project is focused on 4 main crops that include sunflower, soya beans, groundnuts and simsim production. At least 240 billion shillings has been invested in community access roads and is to run in 81 districts, and it is going to deliver 2,500 kilometers of community access roads.
But also now, because we cannot cover all the sub-counties, I wish to report that our intervention will cover 162 sub-counties. So when we have these roads done, we shall be able to support the value chain in terms of providing motorability and connectivity between production sites, the farmlands, the gardens, to the markets, to the highways, to the feeder roads, so that we are able to serve our population.
The project manager, National Oilseeds Project, Christopher Gumisiriza, says the project will support farmers increase production of oilseed crops because of the need of vegetable oil in the country. He said the Agriculture Ministry will support farmers with improved seed and technologies that are able to add value to the seed oil.
This is a project that is aimed at producing and supporting farmers to increase the production of oilseed crops. And these are mainly sunflower, soybean, sesame, and groundnuts. As you all know, we have a deficit on our needs for vegetable oil in the country. So this project is aiming at commercializing the oilseed sector.
Karunji Lydia from the Ministry of Local Government says they are to work closely with Narrow into multiplying foundation seeds for sunflower and Makerere University for soya bean to come up with 2 extra varieties.
Other than the small household concentrating all its land on what we call subsistence crops for household consumption, we're trying to encourage the smallholder farmers to expand from household food consumption to also participating in crops that are for commercial purposes.
The National Oilseeds Project will also support the oilseed value chain development with construction of a high-quality animal feed processing facility, support small and medium-scale on-farm irrigation with 200 irrigation schemes, among others. The project is to run for 7 years. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Pentecostal churches in Lango have joined a movement aimed at fighting food insecurity in the region. The group, comprising of pastors and church leaders, are championing a new model of crop production. A 16 by 39 meters plot is believed to produce enough maize to feed a family of 5 for an entire year.
Fomvuza is a new model of farming borrowed from Central Africa, in which farmers ensure efficient use of resources on a small area to optimize management for better yields. A 16 by 39 meters Fomvuza plot is capable of producing enough maize to feed the family of 5 for the entire year.
Plant materials that you cover, you use as mulch, actually, what in other form people call it rubbish, which could have been burnt. Remember, when it rains, the runoff after the rain will wash away the topmost fertile part of the soil, which is so precious for us in agriculture.
If we fight that challenge of soil disturbance, soil disorganization, and gets back to God's way of handling soil, I think we will do very excellent.
The reason why we are trying to run away from conventional agriculture is that when you plow the soil, you disorganize the soil, and the soil would become so much compact. And when the soil is hardened up, then the sun comes and hits the soil, it will become like you are just baking bricks.
Something good is going to happen. The Pentecostal Church is now championing the initiative, which they say resonates with the biblical teaching. Through Rex and Farm Solutions, pastors and church leaders drawn from across the region who are trained to religiously adopt conservation agricultural principles as a way to show the program's support to climate.
Farming God's way will help you revigorate the soil which has already been wasted. And so one of the other methodology we are training our pastors, churches, Christians and community is what we call climate adaptive farming.
The reason why I was even not making any good yield, because I wasn't even supervising the field. I will not even see whether the diseases has even affected my plant or what.
A demonstration garden established in Lira City West Division is helping the pastors appreciate the impression of the model.
The conventional one, they are not very healthy, and they are not tall like the ant hill and the compost manure.
Through this initiative, Northern Uganda is going to feed this country. Northern Uganda is going to feed East Africa.
Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Hey, one factor.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's National Resistance Movement government has provided examples to Ugandans in the field of democracy. Little wonder that now learners start in primary school engage in elective politics. Let's have a look.
Upholding of democratic values should be an undertaking that starts at an early age for Uganda's youth to grow into responsible citizens. This has been witnessed at Namiryango Junior Boys School that has elected new leaders, with administration determined to grow learners early.
This is a very important exercise because even when the children are learning in the subject of social studies, it is part of what they are supposed to learn.
Interestingly, like at most institutions lately, learners believe that an early shot at politics can prepare them for bigger things.
My name is Awandera Mathimako. I am a pupil at Namiryango Junior Boys School. I am in primary 6A. I am the newly elected head boy of Namiryango Junior Boys School.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
TB kills approximately 30 people daily, and 247 Ugandans fall ill of TB disease every day. TB has killed dreams and families. We all deserve a chance in life to hustle, smile. We all deserve a chance to dream and be the best version of ourselves. It is preventable and curable. Know your status. TB testing, treatment, and all TB-related services are free in all government hospitals and accredited private health centers.
Jerry con! Jerry con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa! First school fees I teach you. When I'm going to which the muscali, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You stay put on it. Add kilometers to your legs and you get your sugar. We buy milk from Umaru and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Welcome back, and now in the world of business. The European Union and United Nations have handed over the Spotlight Initiative 1.0 to government of Uganda. The initiative, implemented by development partners and government, was geared at eliminating all forms of violence against women and girls in Uganda.
The Spotlight Initiative is aimed at eliminating violence against women and girls across the country and globally. The EU and UN have officially handed over the Spotlight 1.0 initiative to the government after a successful 4-year implementation period.
Comments came up about how do we broaden this? So we've shown proof of concept. Well, how do we go to scale? And to go to scale, we need to broaden it. So I think this is that moment where we really are recognizing the results and really committing to make it this bigger, broader, deeper, etc. And for that, really, I want to congratulate everybody in this room.
At its inception in 2019, Uganda had high rates of gender-based violence. The Uganda Demographic and Health Survey 2016 report shows that physical violence was at 56% and sexual violence was at 22%.
The Spotlight Initiative outcomes are relevant and aligned to the Human Capital Development Program of the NDP3, the Community Mobilization and Mindset Change Program, the Program for Administration of Justice, as well as the Program for Governance and Security.
The program constructed 2 GBV shelters in Amdat and Terogo, trained adolescents on sexual reproductive health rights, and also supported over 1,800 girls with business startup kits.
And I know that the need to work with traditional and religious leaders to continue our work with those very influential actors to promote more positive norms and attitudes.
The legislative environment currently is sending difficult messages. The NGO Act and the proposed NGO bill seems to put strong clauses that will continue to shrink the civil society space.
As Spotlight 1.0 closes, preparations to kick off its successor program, the Uganda Spotlight Initiative Joint Program 2.0, under the Gender for Development Uganda, are ongoing. Kansime Santina, UBC News.
Uganda Prison Savings and Credit Cooperative members have been asked to disregard themselves from acquiring loans from financial institutions. The Acting Director for Prison Administration, John Bosco Tumwebaze, says that this will help boost the Sacco income rates, and this was at the 2023 report to the 15th Annual General Meeting at the prison's headquarters in Luzira.
Registering profits of 16% in the year 2022, Uganda Prisons Saving and Credit Cooperative members have been urged to embrace Sacco products and activities to grow the Sacco financially.
This is an appeal to all our staff. Please make sure that they embrace, let all of us embrace the products offered by our Sacco before you take a risk of landing into a trap of money lenders. The Sacco increases, or has even increased, the loan repayment period from the 24 months to already the 36 months.
The Acting Director, Prison Administration, John Bosco Tumwebaze, said a 13% loan interest rate has been approved to enable savers acquire loans.
I discourage you from taking expensive loans from the money lending institutions that can tie you for so long and then have a negative impact on your performance and probably leading to other consequential results. I'm told some of you have been attempted to sell off the Sacco loans, which is at 13% interest rate, in favor of that of the banks.
The Treasurer, Uganda Prison Saving and Credit Cooperative Society, Jacob Chivumbi, says the approved proposed budget will improve the Sacco's income rate.
What was actually spent on finance expenses was 65,640,000. Members, you'll appreciate that here there was a concerted effort to reduce the expenditure, and we actually reduced. But we don't want to take things for granted.
While registering an improvement, an internal auditor, John Sirada, expressed worry about the decline in asset value caused by inevitable challenges.
The year you find that total members' capital, including the reserves, was standing at 6.7 billion, compared with the one of 2021, which was 5.4 billion. So there has been a very good improvement in your capital growth.
Uganda Prisons Savings and Credit Cooperative Society has registered 1.5 billion Ugandan shillings growth, and the Sacco financial year runs from 1st January to 31st December every year. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namukose, UBC News.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *100 *10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100 *10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100 *10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
Welcome back, and we now delve into the world of sports. The issue of lack of sports facilities in Uganda will soon be a matter of the past. This is after a National Council of Sports District Outreach Program revealed land set aside for sports infrastructure and development in the north, northeast and eastern Uganda.
Contrary to public opinion, government is intent on setting up sports facilities across the country. This has been manifested by the National Council of Sports District Outreach Program that aims at getting titled land at districts that is purely designated for sports. Government will then develop the land into stadiums, and in areas where structures exist, improve them to meet global demand, and in the process set up 8 regional stadiums. On the latest tour to North, Northeast and Eastern Uganda, the outreach has been to Gulu, Lira, Soroti, Katakwi, Kapchora, Mbale and Tororo.
First of all, in our district, we have already land allocated for this infrastructure, but not developed yet. And the message that we have received is a good one, and we're just ready. In case of anything, we are ready to invite the National Council of Sports to come and they look at the land and see if it is enough. They go in for the development of that infrastructure.
A meeting with key stakeholders at Mbale Stadium resolved that unity prevails to address the ownership issue.
All said and done, let's be disciplined. Disciplined how? If a team comes here, for people you know and those you don't know, behave the way we have behaved today. But for you to behave like you behaved when GS came here with a certain team of Americans, where people are saying, division. Say, the division is under what?
Under
It's not independent. The city cannot stand without the division.
So these are coincident people that should build this city together.
Ngenze nsavinga abantu bangi nnyo kutandikira ku Muzeeyi Sseggwanga Musisi president wa Fufa Haji Twakakaire Abbas Kawasi ngenze Obuwa uyo tutuse mpaka Mulindwa mpaka katisaawe no Magogo as a president of Fufa yajanga mu 90s ngagira mu mikono gyange gino kale abatuyamba abadukirira mutuyambe kisaawe tubenti tukizimba kidda ku mutindo nga bwe kyali mu 89.
In Tororo, King George IV Stadium is earmarked for development, with the Elgon View Playground another that the Tororo leadership has earmarked. But as National Council of Sports embarks on revitalizing of district sports councils to help nurture talent, many challenges still exist.
Sports activities in districts are stalled because, for one, we lack the district sports officer, and the people who are acting, they were only focused on schools, not on communities. As a district, we don't have talent identification, places where children and other people can be identified.
You realize that most stakeholders, most learners, most people would want to come and compete and move from one level to another, but they don't have funds to enable them compete favorably.
It's the hope of every Ugandan that after this outreach, government will invest money in sports facilities to help grow sport in Uganda to professional levels. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
And that brings us to the end of our 10 o'clock bulletin. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and have yourselves a lovely night.